could kind of like observe
Right.
from afar, like what marriage and kids really are. Oh, are we live?
Yeah, we are. But I just wanted to roll right into it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. All these people getting married, they're having kids, they're pumping them out. We're not. We're doing fine.
And they're doing it
We're
during the
coming at you
playoffs.
live. Miles, where are you at?
I am in Arizona, and it hit 110 today. My pool is 77 degrees.
Wow. Sometimes people in Norway, if you're listening, people in Denmark, Iceland, Greenland, Netherlands, nether regions, if you're very cold, don't come here. This is not the place for you. We're warm here. This is
Hot.
Chicago. It's 80 degrees right here.
Is it really?
Miles, oh yeah, it's beautiful. You cannot beat Chicago in June through August. After that,
Yeah.
it's not very fun.
Summertime in the Midwest, yeah.
You still have to come, and we got to go to a summer league game sometime.
We definitely do.
Game 5 happened last night, Miles.
Yes, it did.
So, a lot of things happened. We can go at this from a number of different ways. We can just go from the game perspective. We can go big picture on what the game means. Let's just start with the game. What happened? What'd you see out there?
From my perspective,
there was really sorry.
No. What I saw was Golden State shot the ball incredibly well, like Splash Brothers fashion, where they hit like 47% of their threes or something like that. They shot 12 of 25, something like that. Let me look at it. I mean, they shot the ball really well, 20 of 42. So 46% from three-point range. There's not another team in the NBA that can hit 20 at 40. Toronto did not shoot the ball particularly well. And I think that, okay, I'll keep going with my thoughts. Toronto rebounded the ball really well. They were +7 on the boards. I think they were +7 on the offensive glass, which is exactly what they need to do to beat the Warriors. They also took care of the ball. They did not turn the ball over too many times. I think they had 13 turnovers. Golden State did exactly what I predicted they would do and what they've done all playoffs, which is turn the ball over pretty consistently, 16 or 17 turnovers. And Golden State also was playing really undisciplined defense once again, where they were reaching in, they were jumping on everything, trying to block shots. And Toronto played the ball pretty well. Like they got to the free throw line way more than Golden State did, and they had fewer fouls. These were all things that Toronto needed to do to beat the Warriors. And the only difference, I think, is that Toronto did not knock shots down that they should have hit Pascal Siakam, and Golden State was raining on them.
From a game plan perspective, which of the two teams executed their game plan better? And what were they trying to do out there?
I mean, I think Toronto did. The only, like I said, I mean, they just didn't hit open shots. Which I don't think that's really
defensively,
a game plan.
I guess let me rephrase. So going into the game, the strategy obviously for Golden State was to trap Kawhi, limit Kawhi. I mean, obviously, it didn't work. What did Toronto focus on? Because they had an idea that KD was going to play. And I think we'll get into his injury, but I think a lot of it had to do with they were being really physical with him. Back-to-back possessions, banging in the post. And I think for KD, it was a nice welcome to the NBA again. You've had a month off. It takes a while for you to get hit and to rebound again. But, I mean, which of the two teams – I mean, because it was really two different games, right? It was pre-KD and post-KD, right? So if I just keep asking you which of the two teams executed better and Toronto just did everything better, obviously they didn't win the game. What happened? There were two different games. What happened the first game? From pre-KD injury.
I mean, Golden State hit their first 5 threes, I think.
Mm.
I think they hit their
And
first
Curry
like
was
6
4
or
from
7.
5, 4 for 5 from the first quarter, right?
Yeah.
He was hot. KD just, you could tell the spacing was so much better.
Yeah. And the way that they were using Kevin Durant was not as an isolation player. It was as a spot up shooter because he was really playing, he was trailing pretty much everything. I think that their game plan going in was that they didn't really want Kevin Durant being that active. They wanted him to trail and knock down open shots, which he did. I mean, he hit really contested shots. He started, he ended 3 for 3.
And you could really tell when he was starting to get back in his groove, you know. I mean, he started off kind of slow. I mean, he did make his open shots in that
He
first
looked
quarter,
he definitely looked comfortable
but
though.
he didn't limit himself. You know, the play where he got hurt on, it was like a jab step, shift your center of gravity kind of move. You know, it was a hard basketball move he was trying to make that his body couldn't do. He
And I
wasn't just
watched it
spotting up in the corner like a old Dirk Nowitzki. You know,
right, and that was I think like 12 minutes into his playing time. So he was set up to play the same amount of minutes as Thompson. So Draymond Green 41, 41, Thompson played. He was on that exact same plan, and Kevin Durant was not on a minute restriction, which I guess I can get into that. We'll like finish the execution of the game. Toronto needs to hit open shots. That's the bottom line. Like if you want to be an NBA championship team, you have to hit open shots. I think Toronto executed more of their game plan, and Golden State hit like an abnormal amount of shots.
mm.
And they sort of like broke the system where Toronto should have won this game. And that, I believe, is an anomaly. Like the way that Golden State won this game is not a normal thing. And that's why they're capable of being so good. It is not a consistent game plan. I do not think they will win this series.
Was it on purpose for the Warriors to come out with? I mean, is it ever on purpose for them to come out and say we're going to get this guy involved? I mean, because Stephen Curry came out really aggressive, and from the first couple shots, you could tell he was trying to build momentum, but then he kind of got quiet, fell silent. What do you think happened with them? And I mean, obviously they started to rely on KD more at that time.
Yeah,
Could they
I
have
think they
done
were.
something different strategically wise? I mean, it's hard to gamble because you don't know what KD's going to do. You don't know what he's going to feel like, and you don't know what he's going to bring. And when you start to see, you know, that girl that got away from you start to come back, it's hard to say no. It's hard to put him on the bench.
Yeah, so I think that the Warriors are ultimately responsible, the Warriors coaching staff and medical staff, anybody that was involved in the decision to let Kevin Durant play. Everything I'd been hearing leading up to it, like Jalen Rose said, his workouts did not go well. Like he's able to move around, he's not limping, he's able to run, but he's still not really structurally there. And they said
We can go big picture KD stuff. Yeah, I don't want you to
right. I'll
ruin
bring
your
it back.
point. You got a great KD point.
I'll
So
bring it back.
Steph goes quiet. KD goes down. The Raptors, God, the Raptors fans. I mean, listen. I was watching the game, Miles, and I was like, if I was a Raptors fan, if I was a Canadian, okay. I don't know if you watched the beginning, the Star Spangled Banner and "O Canada," the singing of "O Canada." It felt like we were going to war with Canada. I don't know if I felt that, if I was the only one who felt that, but when everyone was singing "O Canada," when the whole crowd was singing "O Canada," I was like, oh my God, these poor warriors. They're going to Russia. They're going into Siberia to fight the evil.
Where there's a different flag.
There's it's all red. Red is, America, let's go. And so I think there was an underlying tone of like hostility that really, if you were there, I'm sorry if you were a fan of the Toronto Raptors. It's kind of like the Nazi thing. Like if you were there, how would you know you wouldn't do it? So it's hard for me as a person of passion, Miles. It's hard for me to say bad, shame. What do I know, Miles? I'm 25. There's a lot I don't know. What I do know is when everybody collectively goes, no, 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 what you did was bad, I immediately think, oh, yeah, but what have you done?
Yes.
So
I know
to make
exactly how I reacted.
to make a big deal out of it all, yeah, they freaking booed up, but they cheered him at the end because they're like, okay, yeah, but we don't mean it. Like, this is all make believe. You're
Okay,
supposed to be booed. This is all staged. It's all a theatrical performance. You know,
I think they got caught up.
if you're watching The Wizard of Oz, right, and the Wicked Witch falls off the stage and breaks her leg, I don't know. Maybe this is a bad point. Maybe this is a bad take.
There has to be some humanity, though. I think the Toronto fans got caught up in trying to win a championship, and they thought they were going to get it.
That's so true.
And they thought they were going to get it in Toronto. And they might still, but they thought they were going to get it on Monday. I think they got caught up.
I don't know if I have to start making a basketball shrine to the gods, the basketball gods, but they came out when Curry was holding on to Kevin Durant's shoulder as they're going to the locker room. I could just feel the powers of the basketball gods and the karma and because Kevin Durant is going to benefit from this, I think, in the end. Like, I'll just go into it, Miles. I'm already dug myself kind of a deep hole by just going off the rails. Because Kevin Durant, he always wanted to be accepted, to be admired. He wanted that admiration that he never got by being the greatest player on the planet. But by giving up part of his body, he'll forever go down as a champion, a warrior. And I feel like the whole tone of his legacy will be completely different. And it got me thinking about just in general how we view people's legacies, because yes, we talk about Jordan and the 6 rings, and yes, we talk about Kobe and his, but when we talk about players like Shaq, we talk about them throughout their whole career. And I do think that the OKC chapters will help him, and just his overall legacy as a great player, because he did carry that OKC team to the finals, and he did carry the Warriors to 2 championships. And that's what'll be the narrative. They needed KD, especially if they lose in the finals. Especially if they lose, it'll be they needed KD. They thought they could win without him. They can't. And for him, it'll be, oh my gosh, everybody loves me now. I finally have the acceptance I want by the Warriors fans who they don't think of it as just Steph's team anymore. They think of it as, everybody's team, because they all sacrificed and they all gave up everything. We'll think of these Warriors as basketball gods. I mean, I feel like Manu is just as loved as Tim Duncan, if you talk about him amongst NBA fans and people who follow that Spurs team. So I think he'll be just fine. And I think basketball wise, he physically and humanly, I feel bad for him. He's going to make a full recovery. I'm sorry if anyone's offended by what I said.
So here's the reality of it. He's not going to play next year. It popped. Like if you watch that in slow motion and zoom in on that, it popped. Torn Achilles. he will not be back until the 2020-21 season. This is for sure. This will, however, help his legacy ultimately, like you said. This is going to be his turn from heel, which is when he left OKC and went to a 73-9 win Warriors team that knocked him out of the Western Conference Finals. I'll never forgive him, regardless of what happens to him or how many Purple Hearts he gets in battle. He will turn into a hero from this, though. Regardless of whether Golden State wins or loses, his legacy is kind of like set for the next chapter of his career, where he's going to come back. All the hate is going to have died down. He'll have his own team, which is going to have a different storyline, depending on who he signs with, whether he goes with Brooklyn or New York or whoever it is. They're going to be without him for 1 year, and the talk for the entire year is going to be, wow, when they get Kevin Durant back. When Kevin Durant steps in and suits up for this team, it's going to be exactly like Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors when Kawhi took a year off and went to Toronto and got them a championship. I think this is ultimately good for his legacy. I think, I don't know, we saw the same thing with LeBron, right? Where he was a hero in Cleveland. He left, went heel, and went to Miami. Everybody hated him. That was the ultimate goal, was to beat LeBron James any way possible. And then he did the right thing and he went back to Cleveland. And people were like, okay, right, he did the right thing. I think this is going to be that change for Kevin Durant.
So, Miles, I agree with you, but hear me out. We're brothers, Miles, you and I. We go back. We were on the same track cross-country team, and you and I both know that the 7 guys on those teams will be forever cemented in our souls, Miles. So if you're KD and you go through this particular playoff run is a culmination of the last 4 with KD. So what I mean by that is you saw the whole narrative play out before you. What are the Warriors with KD? Clippers series. They're KD's team. Make no mistake about it. He's the best player. He goes down in Houston. The Warriors play like the Warriors. Like the fast-paced San Antonio Spurs shooting threes, something you've never seen out of a cereal box. Back to the Kevin Durant Warriors. Throughout that whole playoff run, they've gone through so much that reminds them of what else they've gone through. And I just remember you and I running the streets of Klamath Falls, talking basketball like we are now, instead of actually trying to run and optimize our bodies. So I do think there's a higher chance that he stays in Oakland, San Francisco, Golden State. Just because of that reason. Just because those are his brothers. And anywhere else he goes will feel like you transferred to a different school. And you had to make friends your senior year. You know, you didn't want to do that. You wanted to have as much eligibility as you have left in Kevin Durant. I mean, an injury like this, look, these levels of athletes don't get injured like this. Kobe Bryant got hurt when he was 34. Dominique Wilkins, 35. Chauncey Billups, 35 when they tore their Achilles. This guy's 30. LeBron, when he was 30, was dragging Iman Shumpert to finals. You know, like, and also notice, LeBron did not give any chance of re-aggravating that groin injury. He did not come back early for a team he signed with for the next 4 years with no trade clause that he's trying to build a legacy with. Kevin Durant's not trying to build a legacy for the Golden State Warriors. He wasn't trying to do anything for them. He was trying to do it for himself and for his brothers. So we'll see. If you're Kevin Durant, do you want to spend a whole year rehabbing by yourself in a closet, not watching basketball, or watching basketball by yourself for the Clippers while you cheer on Kawhi, while you cheer on Shea, and Doc Rivers is like, come on, KD, let's get you in the huddle? Or do you want to rehab next to your friends? When you go to work, do you want to go to work with your friends, or do you want to go to work with strangers?
I mean, how good is the relationship between Kevin Durant and Draymond Green?
I don't know. They seem pretty close. They seem like they're the kinds of guys that go at each other. And that spat they had at the beginning of the season was more so along the lines of, KD, are you with us or are you against us? Which, like I said, showed that narrative replayed itself in the playoffs. KD, we're hurt. Clay's hurt. Steph's got the flu. Whatever. He's weird. He gets hurt sometimes. Golfers and pool players and 3-point shooters, it's all up here with these guys, Anyways.
I don't know. I think he leaves.
So he answered those questions. He did come back. Draymond, what do you want from me? Why are you mad at me, Draymond? Kevin and I just want acceptance.
I was surprised to see that DeMarcus Cousins didn't play one single minute while Kevin Durant was on the floor.
So I kind of think we should finish the free agency and then we'll go back to the game for the second half of the game.
Kevin Durant's leaving Golden State. He's not staying.
You think he's leaving?
Golden State can't afford him because Clay is going to take $30 million. He's going to take a max contract.
That luxury bill. That's a
DeMarcus
spicy.
DeMarcus Cousins only signed for a year. This team's blown up. Whether they keep Kevin Durant or not, if they keep Kevin Durant, they've got to get rid of Klay Thompson and DeMarcus Cousins, which changes the whole look of the team. I don't hate it. I really don't.
Well, if you don't have Andre Iguodala, who do you have to guard a LeBron James in the finals? A Kawhi Leonard in the finals?
You have Draymond Green. I mean, you won't have.
He's long and athletic. He can actually guard the guys on the perimeter. I feel like Draymond.
I don't think there's a replacement for Iguodala.
How about Livingston? They don't have a farm system where they're developing second-round picks into role players. I mean, I guess they tried that right? They've been trying that, but they just don't have it.
I mean, Quinn Cook came out of the G League.
I stand corrected.
I think Kevon Looney.
So where do you think Kevin Durant goes then?
Honestly, I think Brooklyn. I'm not really confident on that, but I've been saying that for a long time, so I might be kind of like pridefully locked into that answer. But I feel like that makes sense. Brooklyn has, I think, 2 max slots open. It's a big city, but it's not the Knicks. They're a lot more together. They have somebody there like D'Angelo Russell to play with.
Well, they're going to sign Kyrie Irving, right?
That's kind of my suspicion. I mean, that's kind of what's been talked about is Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. And then you put in D'Angelo Russell on top of that. Yeah. That's a good start.
Joe Harris, Jarrett Allen.
Yeah.
No more Allen Crabbe, and you have Taurean Prince.
And I like Taurean Prince a lot. I think he could benefit a lot from a Kevin Durant presence. If Kevin Durant chooses... Well, yeah, but I mean, like...
So now you're looking at a team gelling with just Kyrie, and then they add Kevin.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though. Honestly, like, for Kevin Durant to just be a locker room guy, I think is a good thing.
Keep Kyrie in check.
Yeah, and to be... I don't know, to know each other as people first, and then get on the basketball court together and become competitors. And I think that would go a long way.
So what are the positives of leaving Golden State?
Well, right now, the way his career is sort of defined is he joined a championship-ready team. They literally set an NBA record for win percentage. 73 wins in a season. Nobody's ever done that. I think they had 70 the year before. Or 67. Whatever it was a lot. high 60s. I know that.
So what's the difference between that and what LeBron did?
I don't know. They weren't a ready team. Like LeBron joined Chris Bosh and D Wade and formed a big three. If Kevin Durant decided, hey, Steph, Clay, let's meet up here. I mean, Miami didn't win a championship the year before. They won a championship in 2005, but that was with Shaquille O'Neal. It was a totally different team. And then they decided, let's create this big three. Let's create this together. This was already created, and Kevin Durant joined it. It's technically not his team. This is Steph Curry's team. Everyone's calling it Kevin Durant's team because he's a better player. But that's the thing. There shouldn't be any kind of like fuzziness on whose team this is. Kevin Durant needs to go somewhere where it's Kevin Durant's team. He needs to get a championship for his legacy with Kevin Durant's team, leading his team, because he's really not leading Golden State, honestly. I mean, they went 6 games with the Clippers in the first round with Kevin Durant leading Golden State. That hurts.
Whoever gets Kevin Durant is signing the player who is going to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for most points scored all time. That's a very valuable sign in a free agent market to sign, to have that moment, you know, captured on video, the moment he passes whoever, the moment he passes Jordan, Dirk, Kobe, all these guys, it's going to be in your jersey. So you're right. He does need his own team. Maybe moving to San Francisco makes the Bay a little bigger.
I think it would be really cool if he went to the Knicks. And if LeBron James gave us at least 84% effort next year, then we could
now we're getting into topics I like to hear. The draft, the Knicks, and LeBron.
Then we could at least have the opportunity, the small chance at a Lakers-Knicks NBA championship. That's what the league needs.
That's a good place to take a quick break. Yeah, coming right back. We're back. Miles. Game 5 for the finals happened last night. Second half, KD goes down. Basketball guys grant Steph karma and impurity. They grant him that, you know, in Mario, when you like get that really shiny star and you can like run over people and you're like invincible. That's what happened to the Warriors the last 2 minutes of the game. Miles, walk me through the fourth quarter, because apparently that's the only thing that matters, because nothing matters with the Warriors, who can just score touchdown points and just come back whenever they want to. And they have Kawhi Leonard on the other side when he can just make 10-0 runs whenever he can. Walk me through it, Miles.
Okay. So the fourth quarter started slow for the Raptors. They were behind, trying to claw their way back. They did not do it until Kawhi Leonard said, "Give me the ball. I'll do it." He went on a 10-0 scoring run by himself. He hit 2 threes, and then he just backed people down. He literally started pushing people out of the way. I think Lowry came over to set a pick, and he almost used it and was like, "Nah, never mind. Move. Give me this side of the floor. I'll take care of it." He thought he was going to get himself a championship. Then, in a really bizarre fashion, immediately following a 10-0 run, where we think, oh, it's coming back, it's going to Kawhi. Is he going to knock down another 3? Is he just going to back it down and shoot? Is it going to be 12, a 13-0 run just by Kawhi himself? Is he going to put him up by double digits? No, a timeout. Literally, a timeout. Why did Nurse call timeout? I don't understand.
Well,
I'll say this.
What if
they looked confused?
And they gave him? What if Kawhi gave him a quick signal that he was tired and that he needed a little bit of a break?
And that's almost exactly what I was going to say. Is they did look sort of confused. Like either they were waiting for a timeout, or Lowry was like, "Oh, here you go, Kawhi. Do it again." And then Kawhi was like, I need a break.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what was actually happening, but I don't really blame Nick Nurse because it looked weird. Like
And
his players quit
all
playing.
of those non-verbal cues he gives are his verbal cues he gives. So in a split second of your Nick Nurse and you're reading your superstar player go, and that's all you have to work with. Timeout. Let's I mean, I'm not playing around. You sit down in your nice chair, your elevated chair, so you don't have to sit down all like this. You get to sit down in a chair all 90-degree like.
And it was weird. I will hand him that. You can't really put yourself in that situation and go, I would not have called that timeout.
You normally don't call a timeout when you have all of the momentum at home.
That's true.
While there's still game to play. You're right.
It was weird. It was very weird. So following that, it's back to kind of like an even keel game. We're waiting for somebody to take control and get momentum again. And Golden State is doing pretty much everything right, and they can't get it going. They literally couldn't. Every single time something good happened to them, the refs took it away. Or Draymond Green messed it up. DeMarcus Cousins had a tip dunk on kind of a controversial play, but ultimately I think they made the right call. It was over the rim. He played.
How about him playing right when KD goes down? 9 points right away.
Phenomenal minutes.
He played down the stretch as well.
Yeah. No, he was big for them. And honestly, I think that should have been a legal play. I think the NBA's the moving screen was dumb. That was really dumb. I was waiting for the refs to call that all game.
Ooh.
I mean, DeMarcus Cousins is really famous for it, and the ref was looking directly at him. And he didn't even square up to the body. He just bent down and then boom, nailed him. It was an easy call. And
do you put that on DeMarcus?
Hurt their momentum. Yes, absolutely. I mean, to be fair, they were not calling that.
His second game in the finals.
That's a dumb play.
His third game
it doesn't matter. I don't know. It doesn't matter if you're playing a high school game on a Tuesday against people that, I mean, like it could be a JV game, and DeMarcus Cousins makes that play. It's still dumb. Even if it doesn't matter, it's still dumb. He knows good and well that was a moving screen. All he had to do was stand up straight and stand there. It would have done the same thing because it's the point guard's responsibility. It was Steph Curry's responsibility to make the defender use that pick. Steph Curry did his job, and then DeMarcus, for some reason, felt the need to do a little bit more. And he moved in a really weird, awkward, and obvious fashion. He's not the most graceful. He's not the most graceful person on the court, and he's enormous. And he hit Kyle Lowry. So,
and his breath smells too.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. The actual turning point in this game, I believe, directly after that DeMarcus Cousins call where they took 2 points away on a tip dunk because it was basket interference. Toronto had...
Very close.
It was very close. And I think it should have been legal ultimately. We can get to that at a different time. The Raptors had all of the momentum. It was in their court. They were up by 6, and they were prepared to go up 8 off of a controversial call. One that the Warriors were pretty obviously upset about.
So freeze the moment in time right there. And you're Dr. James Naismith, and you got your hand around basketball legends of old, and you're up there with your robes, and it's white, and it's you clouds, and light, and harps, and you send what down, Miles?
Well, I'll tell you what I wouldn't have sent down.
What do you send to the Splash Brothers?
I send you Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry. Honestly, it was all three of them. Draymond Green block at the end. That could have saved the whole season.
Kyle Lowry makes $30 million a year. His playoff record is forever scarred, regardless of what he does. But he had a chance. He had a chance to mend a little piece of his forever tainted legacy.
I mean,
And
I
what
think
did he do? He threw a turnover to give all the momentum back. That was step number one. I think we all know where the game ended, obviously. And I don't think Fred VanVleet will pass up a shot 3 feet behind the
Fred
three-point line ever
VanVleet,
again.
shout out to your dentist. In this summer, he's going to get paid. Sorry, bro. You're going to go through hell. But you're giving
Fred
it up too.
VanVleet.
He needs to be, commended. That's going to hurt. He's playing through that. He's not getting that fixed.
He played really well. He shot 3 of 6 from three-point range. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. The only guy that I see that's really not pulling the weight in what's hurting the Raptors in this series, allowing Golden State to stay in this, is Pascal Siakam. He gave everybody false hope in game 17 and putting up 30 points. Where's he been? He's 0 for 9 from three-point range since that game. That's awful. He was 0 for 4 last night. And not like shooting Kevin Durant type threes with somebody on top of you inside your shorts. He was shooting higher right by the floor, all to
in
himself.
rhythm.
Golden State's like, dare you. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
He got
Draymond
phenomenal
Green
looks. 4
making
fantastic
clutch threes with no hesitation. After guys on his team passed up shots, I can't remember if it was Iguodala. Somebody passed up a wide open three to give it to Draymond because they looked at it they looked at the basket for half a second, kicked it to Draymond, no hesitation, swish. Oh my goodness! And he's like, "Yeah, I knew I was going to go in the whole time."
I was blown away, honestly, when Iguodala gave that up. Not because Iguodala gave up the three, but because he gave it up to Draymond. And those two guys have been sitting and getting great looks at the top of the key. And I think that's what's hurting the Warriors. Is Green and Iguodala not keeping Toronto accountable?
And
I mean, they're everywhere. Toronto is trying to keep Steph and Clay off the line.
Yep.
And obviously for the first 12 minutes of the game, trying to keep Kevin Durant off the line. They're willing to let Iguodala and Green try to beat them from three-point range. And he did it. Iguodala did it to Houston in game 6 because I think it was Chris Paul that said we were going to force them to beat us. The way that they did that was they gave Iguodala the looks and said, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us with Iguodala at the three-point line. And he shot 5 for 8 on the night. He killed it. He buried him. And it deleted out everything that Houston did well in the series. If Golden State's going to come back from this, Iguodala needs to be aggressive. Not overly aggressive, but he does need to be able to shoot open shots. Like if somebody's sagging off you 15 feet into the paint, shoot it. He's a capable shooter. Draymond Green needs to do the exact same thing. They're giving him his shot at the top of the key. He loves that shot, and he'll hit it a high percentage of the time. I think they both need to shoot the ball better, and Siakam needs to attack. And at least hit 1 3.
You okay with Kawhi giving it up at the end?
No, absolutely not. I'm not okay with Fred VanVleet giving it up at the end. Fred VanVleet had the hot hand in the fourth quarter. Honestly, it was Fred VanVleet and it was Kawhi Leonard.
And he kicked it all the way to Lowry in the corner. Pass. These guys don't want the smoke, Miles. They don't want to take the shot. They don't want the...
That's what it looked like. Yeah, it looked like they were like, here, give it to Philip Seymour Hoffman in the corner. I can't believe Kawhi didn't take it. I really can't. He had, I think, 6 seconds when he gave the ball up. Maybe less, 4.
Yeah.
He had time.
He got trapped at he was at the top of the key with 8.
And Fred VanVleet.
Exactly where he wanted to go. Everybody knew he wanted to take 2 power dribbles and get to the top of the elbow, elevate, and end the game. Everybody knew that he wanted to go right.
He should have shot over the double team, to be honest with you. He had the hot hand. He did miss his last shot, but that was because of phenomenal defense, a shot clock running down, and I believe it was Klay Thompson. That was that was like right in his face when he shot that shot. He was forced into it. Everybody knew what he was doing, including Klay Thompson, who had better position. It was an unfortunate play, and he shot an air ball.
And how about Klay's pump fake?
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, Klay was huge. He's going to be big for the rest of the series. I mean, he hit crazy shots. What was his percentage last night? 7 of 13 from three-point range.
Whew.
Crazy good.
That's shooting.
And he's underrated as a defender.
Even with the injury.
Yeah. I mean, the injury was his fault. It's kind of karma. He kicked his leg out. It should have been a foul on him, to be honest. It should have been an offensive foul.
So now we're back to the Warriors with no Kevin Durant, with a tired DeMarcus Cousins, a tired Stephen Curry.
Everybody's tired.
Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Alfonso McKinney, half of Andre Iguodala, back to Oracle for a game the fans knew that they were going to have when they left the arena. They're back for Game 6.
Golden State is going to be lit for a lot of reasons. It's for sure 100% the last game at Oracle Arena. Everybody knows this. Number 2, the way that Toronto reacted when Kevin Durant went down. That is going to hurt. I don't feel anything personal against Toronto, but if I was a Portland Trailblazer and Damian Lillard went down and Toronto reacted that way, I'd have been furious. I think it was misunderstood slightly, but they definitely could have handled themselves better. Golden State is going to be prepared. It's going to be loud. I believe it's going to Game 7. And I think it's going to follow my original prediction of Toronto in 7.
I think we're definitely going back to Toronto for Game 7. That's for sure. The Warriors got this game. I mean, I'm rooting for a story, so that's what I selfishly want. But I also am afraid that we're going to see the Raptors celebrate in Oracle Arena and then fly back midnight trek to Canada. Kawhi is going to pack his stuff and then leave. So time will tell. I want to see a game on Sunday. I want to see a championship on the weekend. I'm just not sure.
I mean, how cool would it be for Toronto to win it in Toronto?
Very cool. And I do think Curry, like I said, the whole Portland series, Klay, these other guys are not the ones you should be worrying about. Curry is the guy who's the catalyst. He is the batter in this pancake. He is the engine that could. He is the 3-point Zorro. And he's the reason why the Warriors might win the championship. So we'll see. I'm excited for a great game. Is it tomorrow night? It's tomorrow night, right? Wednesday night? Glad we did this.
I think it's
final
Thursday.
Prediction. Is it Thursday?
I think it is.
Right, because they get they should get two days. Okay, that makes sense. So there was some Lakers Pelicans news came out today, Miles. Anthony Davis said that he would prefer the Knicks and the Lakers. This is an important power play because you are entering the 2019-2020 season in which Anthony Davis is a free agent after this season. And he has leverage up until the February trade deadline. Last year, he didn't have that much leverage to control where he wanted to go. But if you're a team, a superstar away, yes, you could take a risk and trade for an Anthony Davis, i.e. Boston. I'll ask you who are the other teams in a second, but Anthony Davis could be a Laker soon. David Griffin wants to make a move soon before the draft. He wants to have his ammunition. He doesn't want people picking his picks for him. No GM wants that. That'd be like you get free if there was a car show draft, would you want someone to pick your car and then you trade cars, or would you want to pick the car that you want? It's the same idea. And for David Griffin, building around Zion Williamson, I think he's looking at the 4th pick. I think he's looking at the 3rd pick. He's looking at all his options. But it seems to me the Lakers are in a negotiation with themselves if it's just the Knicks and the Lakers. And I'm not giving up. I'll give you Kuzma, but I'm going to see if I can't keep Kuzma and Lonzo together. What are your thoughts, Miles?
I don't think New Orleans is as open to a trade as they're letting on. I ultimately think New Orleans management has all the power in this. They can choose to get...
Okay, so you're talking about Gail Benson or David Griffin? Because if it's David Griffin, he has full power and he doesn't care who he's dealing with. If it's Gail Benson, it's not the Lakers.
I think it's David Griffin. It has to be. Because this is what
he's
happened.
Got constraints on him, what he can and can't do. I don't think he would have taken that job.
No, I'm saying... What I'm saying is Anthony Davis's contract has no option for him. Meaning Anthony Davis can't demand a trade. So David Griffin can say, no, I'm not going to trade you. I'm going to leave you on my bench because I don't want to make the Lakers better. I don't like the Lakers. I don't want to see you team up with LeBron James and give him a second wind. That would be too easy. I'd rather try to team up RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson again and try and deal with New York. That makes way more sense to me.
Or a Jason Tatum.
Or Jason Tatum. That would be interesting, actually, a Boston trade, because Boston has a lot of pieces, and I think they could get a ton of value if they really planned it out, because Boston is definitely willing to try and move really valuable pieces in order to maintain a contending chance in the Eastern Conference. And they can do that if they get Anthony Davis. And I don't think they have to keep too many pieces, honestly. Their main goal should be unloading.
David Griffin was a little bit more specific on what he wanted too, right? He said he wants a young established star, or like an all-star caliber player, a young player with all-star potential and picks, right? And I don't think he's gonna, I can say I want a wish list for my mom and dad all I want, but I'm not gonna get everything I want.
The Lakers are not. The Lakers aren't the answer. I mean, if that's what he wants, it's Boston. It sounds like he wants Tatum, a young established star. It's Tatum.
And an all-star level player.
I mean, it's still Tatum, but I would say, I mean, he could probably get Gordon Hayward if that's the direction you wanted to go.
I mean, we can get
honestly, I'd take Terry Rozier.
So yeah, Terry Rozier and the 14th overall pick and a picks for next year. I think they still have a Grizzlies pick, which is still like weirdly valuable. And that's if you're not throwing in Jaylen Brown as well. So I guess, what do you value more? Do you value picks? Do you value young players, young stars, contracts? What specifically should they build around Zion Williamson? Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Do you really want RJ Barrett next to Zion Williamson? Because if I'm the Knicks, I'm thinking KD's not coming here. Kyrie's not coming here. The best hope we have is this RJ Barrett kid who's grown up in the fire, in the Canadian national team. We talked about it last pod, how great of a fit he would be. You put all your chips in him. I don't think there's room for him in Louisiana.
I think when you're deciding on how to build your franchise, whether it's on picks or the young talent that's in the league, you have to look at what college has to offer. I think Zion Williamson is the best that college has to offer, and probably will be the best in the next 20 years. It's a LeBron James situation. where he's going to develop into something special. It might take longer than people think because he's still a little bit raw skill-wise, the same way Giannis is. But you've seen the impact that Giannis has had even with the skill set that he has. And I think Zion is actually more skilled than Giannis. I think that New Orleans needs to go after young talent that's in the league, established.
Not picks.
I don't think so. That's my opinion. Just because I think this is probably the strongest draft that we'll have in a while. I mean, this could probably be compared with like the same draft that Carmelo came from, and D Wade, Chris Bosh.
So if we're looking at young all-star caliber players, who are we looking at? Are we looking at a De'Aaron Fox? I mean, we can just start naming names. Bradley Beal. I mean, we can get real creative with this. Larry Markkinen. I mean, I don't know what you're. If you value wings.
And that's the thing. What they're losing is Anthony Davis. So picking up an all-star center would probably be awesome.
Yeah, but that's the pessimistic way of looking at it. The optimistic way of looking at it is you're starting with Zion Williamson, not losing Anthony Davis.
You have to use Zion Williamson in the right way to be able to use him the right way.
Right. So what player best should complement him? Is it a point guard? Because I kind of think he can play.
Anthony Davis is my opinion.
Miles, you hit me.
That's my opinion. I don't think they can do better than Anthony Davis and Zion Williamson. If I'm David Griffin, I'm desperately trying to. What do you want? I'll give it to you. Do you want LeBron James? I can get him maybe.
No, I can't.
Probably not.
David Griffin came out and said you're either all the way in or you're all the way out. And AD made it very clear in their little secret meeting that he is all the way out. And David Griffin says, fine, we're shipping you out. What do you do, Miles?
I hate that so much. Swallow a lot of pride. And
Luka is not available. Trae Young is not available. You know, I don't know what young star is just going to show up. It's Jason Tatum. What does Jason Tatum look like Ben Simmons? I don't think Ben Simmons is a good fit. I don't think he's a good fit. I think Zion could do what Ben Simmons does, except a little better. I think they're kind of the same.
Trade straight up for Giannis? I mean, that's way out there. Way out there.
If you think Giannis is going to move, I mean, I don't know.
Do you put it on the table? Would you consider it?
I don't know. If you're Milwaukee, I don't think you would consider it. I don't think you would. When you're these small market franchises, your whole brand should be home for great stars. If we draft you, we love you, and we'll always look out for you. And so flipping Zion from Giannis would be like saying, hey, we're the Toronto Raptors. We like you, but we don't love you. Do you want to get married?
Well, no, I'm saying like Anthony Davis straight up for Giannis. Why not? If Anthony Davis says he wants out, it's not going to be a stab in the back. I'm saying teaming up somebody big and powerful and athletic with somebody big and powerful and athletic. That's something that's going to separate them from the rest of the league. Zion is a different breed. Anthony Davis with Zion Williamson, there's no team that can match up with that unless you're talking about Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins of 2016, which was special. And I blame DeMarcus Cousins. I'll never forgive him for that one either.
For leaving?
Yeah, that was stupid. And this is what caused the Anthony Davis rift between him and New Orleans. He's like, I did this. I stayed here when I did not have to. I signed an extension. And then I got stabbed in the back by a teammate.
Had Buddy Hield.
This is what you get for loyalty.
And we flipped him for a star who I could play with in DeMarcus Cousins. And he gets hurt and he leaves. So now I look at Sacramento and they have Buddy Hield, and they have all those guys, and I don't have any guys. We traded all our guys. I mean, we got Zion coming, but he's not my guy. He's just some guy.
And that's the thing. I think he made up his mind 2 years ago, or at least he made up his mind when DeMarcus Cousins left that he wanted out of New Orleans. He was no longer going to play this loyalty game and try and be the face of the New Orleans Pelicans. He's going to do what everybody else is doing with DeMarcus Cousins and Kevin Durant. What all these guys are doing. He's going to chase the money.
The draft is 2 weeks away. What do you do now? All of this coulda, woulda. I mean, you got 2 weeks before the draft starts. Do you commit to your draft picks now? Because I think that's what might happen. Or is it a draft day explosion? The likes of which we haven't seen since the 2009 season draft 10, when Kevin Durant was taken by the Seattle Supersonics with number 2, and then Ray Allen was traded to the Boston Celtics for the 5th pick. That ended up being Jeff Green. It's the same kind of thing. If you're the Seattle Sonics, New Orleans Pelicans, and you're going to draft a generational talent in Kevin Durant and Zion Williamson, and you have a you have a star in Ray Allen, what do? You do what they did in Seattle, and you try and get a Russell Westbrook to pair with. The problem is the draft isn't going to be that good. You have a Drew Holiday there, so you're not that far away from kind of competing again. Weirdly, as Dallas proved with their young budding star. So it's like, I kind of think you need to get it done now. I kind of think you need to just trade him to Tatum. Like, I'll put it this way. If the Boston Celtics want Anthony Davis, they should be very happy if the NBA draft goes by and the Pelicans still have his rights. Because that will mean that 4th pick by the Lakers, you just drove that car off the lot and that value depreciated. And even if he wants to resign there, you can hate trade him to the Celtics. It's happened before. The NBA is the pettiest league in sports. And with the KD, all these teams were, if I'm right, you very well could be right. KD may very well be ending up in Brooklyn. But I think that injury changed the whole landscape of the NBA. And if he stays in San Francisco, because they're not in Oakland anymore, it's San Francisco. They're the San Francisco Warriors. Okay. If they stay and everyone stays, this NBA will never end, and we're going to be in a paradoxical universe where the Warriors just keep winning, and we're just spinning our hamster wheels all around, and nothing will happen. There is no parity. There is no Jesus. Life is pointless. The New York Yankees, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. New England Patriots. I'm kind of falling off the rails.
The dominance of this Warriors team over the last 5 years has been overrated. They are a championship level team. They absolutely are, because they win games that they are supposed to win.
Overrated, he says. In an era of 3-point shooting, in the future of basketball.
This is what I'm saying. They have a volatile system, and they ran 6 games with the Clippers. Why? How? The Clippers? This is a team of monumental breakdowns, historic breakdowns, not just one. They blew a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals and ironically find themselves in that exact same situation with the exact same team. Exact same team plus DeMarcus Cousins. Okay, this team has benefited, ironically, from the injuries of playoff teams that were destined to beat them. Houston Rockets.
Let me get in here and go. Interject.
And Kevin Love.
Whoa! Do you hear that echo? Okay. What if LeBron stayed in Cleveland in the East? Are we talking about the same Warriors? Or is this new threat of the Toronto Raptors something that we haven't seen in a while, where it's not just LeBron and, guys. It's a legit star around a good veteran group like we haven't seen since Dallas in 2010, 2011. I mean,
I do think that's where the climate of the NBA is sort of changing, where teams want to go They want to get a star and then surround them with really solid talent, like the Warriors had like back in 14-15. Because that's what it was. It was Steph Curry. He emerged as a star, and Klay Thompson was kind of his role player.
Yeah, they might trade him for Kevin Love. Maybe Kevin Love would be a better fit next to Steph Curry. There was that debate.
So they surrounded him with really solid role players, Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green, Sean Livingston, Andrew Bogut. Great role players that were able to take a backseat to stars. I think the LA Clippers are the future of that. The San Antonio Spurs, like the ultimate team. I think we'll sort of see teams sort of gravitate toward a Spurs style 2.0.
I agree. And I think you're seeing it in the Brooklyn Nets system. It's like, look, when you don't have picks, what are you going to do? Find young talent, find Karis LeVert, find D'Angelo Russell on the low. But buy young players who needed a new fresh start and take on massive contracts if you don't have any picks, and develop a culture that you don't need the picks. It's a solution to tanking without even needing to tank or trying to get that LeBron James star. Because as much as we want to say, yes, the likelihood of you getting a number one pick will determine whether or not you'll be a playoff team. The reality is some of these guys, Tom Brady, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry, they're not, even Russell Westbrook wasn't first overall. Paul George wasn't. You have to find a guy with potential who's willing to work hard. And like you said, Denver Nuggets, that's another example. They drafted Porter Jr. last year. We haven't seen him all year. He's redshirted. He's still 20 years old, and he's still 6'10" with a great skill set and a great jump shot. And you can't tell me that's not going to translate in some capacity, especially when they have Will Barton, who you and I watched in Portland. And he was able to carve out a career as a second-round pick and develop, and then eventually sign in somewhere where he developed even more. So the NBA is different, but it's different when the Warriors are ahead, I guess. I guess that's where we are. It's just different. It's a different league, and until he officially is not there, until officially the Warriors are still the Warriors, I mean, like, we're going to play a game 6. The finals are still going on. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Warriors can still come back and win this thing. And it wouldn't be that shocking, would it? How shocking would it be?
I don't know. That's a good question. How shocking would it be if the Warriors came back and won Game 7? I think it would rewrite that narrative that they lost a 3-1. It would be immediately followed by the fact that they overcame a 3-1 deficit. There wouldn't be the asterisk. It would be comma, but they came back.
I agree. They would be one of 2 teams to ever do it.
For Kevin Durant, it would be he left to join a Warriors team. He did all these things, but he sacrificed himself and became a true champion.
Yeah, he turned into a hero when he did that.
And I think for marketing, like, if you think, you got to think about it in terms of like the course of your life, right? It's not, you're a basketball player until you're 40, but you're a human being until you're like 80. And you see now, it's like, gosh, those bands of brothers, I mean, you could do a movie when they're like 60. They could all be on the same set of a new show. You see Steph Curry coming out with his own thing. Like, the value of them being on the same page. Like, think about if Shaq and Kobe were like marketably on the same wavelength, you wouldn't hear the end of it.
And it was a totally different era. That's the thing, is that was sort of an unheard of thing, is 2 superstar MVP talents teaming up together. That was unheard of at that time.
Wow. I just got a glimpse, ladies and gentlemen, of what old Miles is going to sound like. Old Miles is going to come out here and say, when I was a kid, we did not have, but Kobe
There's only
Bryant,
2 MVPs allowed on one team.
And Dwayne Wade, he took 25 free throws in this game 6 against Dallas in 2010. It was great.
Oh, I'm going to be a ranter when I'm old. That's for sure.
I think we are now.
Like, the way that the NBA has gone, though, is Miami sort of broke the mold by having 3 All-Stars put together on the same team. not only that, but the best player in the world centered around that. And then it became, how are we going to beat this? Well, we need more All-Stars. So in order to become an NBA champion, you had to have 3 All-Stars. The Golden State Warriors started with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Those were 3 All-Stars. Then they added Kevin Durant and DeMarcus Cousins. They now have 5. I think that's too many.
Hey, I was holding up a 4, and then he went DeMarcus Cousins on me. Because DeMarcus Cousins, let's forget, was the best center in basketball before he went down.
And he's showing flashes of it. I mean, he played 20 minutes last night, and it was a very efficient 20 minutes. I can't remember what his stats were, but I think he had 6 rebounds and like 15-6 or something like that.
Something great, something that they needed, and something that ended up paying real huge dividends, and I guess in the game.
Massive, yeah. So I think we're seeing a swing a little bit backwards, where we've seen the extreme of how many All-Stars can we collect, and then we're coming back to like, okay, let's back off, because now we've seen the Clippers be successful without a superstar against
you love the Clippers,
the team full of superstars.
When they get Kawhi, what are you going to do to how are you going to feel about that?
I'm probably going to pass out initially
from excitement.
Yes. And I'm going to immediately turn all of my energy from the San Antonio Spurs to the LA Clippers.
Wow.
It's getting really hard to fight for the Spurs, but I'm still doing it.
Honestly, if Zion was in it, the Clippers, that would be amazing.
I think that would be a phenomenal fit, actually.
He would be great in a Clippers jersey. Man, he might make the Pelicans cool to play for. Like, that's a weird thing to say. Oh, yeah, it'd be cool to play for the Pelicans with the freaking, yeah, they got the wing and they got the beak and they got the basketball. Yeah. No, but he's going to make it cool.
And New Orleans isn't a bad place, right? It's not like a small market. It's not Oklahoma City.
No, and if you can remember that the fact that they have a basketball team, if you're like a native Louisianan, and the fact that you remember that they have a basketball team, you think, oh yeah, they have Zion. That's way easier to remember than Anthony Davis, who, by the way, I mean, he kind of didn't win anything. I mean, he kind of just didn't do anything. So do you really want him at this point?
He needs some motivation. He needs
not to get his numbers. Ka-ching. He knows he's got to get that 25, 10, and 9.
He needs a higher octane fuel in the engine. And in order to do that, he needs to be teamed up with somebody where he feels like he can win.
I don't see the difference between Anthony Davis and Kevin Garnett or Tim Duncan.
I mean, physically? I mean, Kevin Garnett was a whole different animal. And I think that New Orleans, or whoever Anthony Davis ends up playing for, should bring in Kevin Garnett as a consultant and say, see if you can give this guy the same stuff.
Ouch. The secret stuff? Maybe in Space Jam 2, he'll have some of that secret stuff too.
I hope so.
He'll have LeBron's secret stuff. Okay, Miles, let's finish this off. Something non-basketball related. What's up? Dude, are you good at cooking?
Yeah.
Have you been cooking since? Okay, so I don't want to age you, but you've been out of the home of your mom and for some time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am now completely on my own, because last year in college I lived with Jack or whatever. And he, I'm trying not to eat out as much, Miles. So I'm trying to cook more, but it's just so weird and so hard. It's like, God, especially when you have money, a little bit of money now. I just want to eat out all the time, but it's so bad for your wallet.
Well, like, you're in Chicago too, and Chicago's like weird to shop in. You're in like the downtown touristy part, so it's like there's not a Costco.
No, okay, literally the grocery store. It's right. That's the grocery store. Right here, what I'm pointing at.
What do they have though?
They have
it's a convenience store, right?
No. It's like a full-on grocery store with like lettuce and milk and eggs and like aisles and
frozen
pharmacy.
and
Yeah, they got a pharmacy. And they have like pre-made stuff. I'm just too lazy, and
Okay.
sometimes I Grubhub. Dude, that's really bad. I'll just get too like Kermity, and I'll just be in my room and just like Grubhub. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to go outside.
That's got to be like on your way home from work, right?
Oh yeah, no, the train is right here. Like you might see the train go by. I'll let you know. The train is right there. Wait, this way, up, right there. There's the train. There's the Jewel-Osco. There's a gas station. There's a cop. Oh my gosh.
Don't see that in Chicago very often, huh?
Not in this neighborhood, Miles. We got to do it on our own.
I cook, so I do like frozen fish and then a vegetable and rice. That's like a really common thing for me.
How long does that take? And what do you do to the fish? Do you season it at all, or you just slap her in, and then slap them in the?
Yeah, so check it out. I do like a garlic herb seasoning that I get from Costco. I do a lot of shopping at Costco.
Lemon?
Yeah. So my neighbor has a lemon tree.
Oh.
And so I just go grab lemons off of his tree. And then because like the tree hangs over in our backyard. So I go grab lemons off the tree. And then I do like also from Costco, like this little chopped up garlic pieces. Put it in the oil. You like brown the garlic, get it smelling nice, and then you just kind of like fry the fish.
See, my problem is when I get home from work, I don't want to do anything, Miles. I don't want to do. So it's like I either make it Sunday and see 20 minutes. I don't know, 20 minutes. I got things to do. I get home, I have things to do. I don't want to eat. I mean, I guess I'll just sometimes it gets bad and I'll have a spoonful of peanut butter and just tell myself to shut up. Go to bed.
I love food, man. I can't do that.
I know, but I just it's so much easier just to Grubhub it. But dude,
I remember doing that. I remember doing a lot of cereal. I used to get like granola and milk and just be like, screw it, I'm gonna have cereal tonight.
The problem with me and sweets is that I will binge everything. So if I want something, like there's a Subway in the building, so I'll usually just go down there and get cookies. And the people know me actually as Cookie Man because they go cookie. Oh, yeah, I'm Cookie. I just want cookie. I don't want the fixings. I want cookie. You want some cookie? Yeah, come on now, let's go. Ring her up. You know my order: 1 white chip, 1 M&M, and 1 double chocolate. Man, what are you talking about? Give me that 3 for $1.97. I live in the building. Give me a 10% discount. Let's go. You know the drill. Why are you acting like we need to?
You also have a really good pizza place right below you, and I'd be there at least once a week. I can guarantee that.
See, I've spent thousands there, or at least 8,000 there. At least I did the math. And the problem is, they have wings now, and I tried them. They're really good, like hot wings. And I eat them, and I watch the show Hot Wings, and I pretend that I'm on it, and I'm on it with you, and we're a tandem. And I go, yeah, I know, right? It's real hot. Oh my gosh! Don't touch your eyes. Here, you want some milk?
I love that show.
It's a great.
My brother has the Hot Ones hot sauce. So
if you're watching, if anyone's watching ever besides just the two of us right now, thank you so much. Oh, I love you.
For real,
You're
especially
great.
if you stayed for this part.
You must really like me.
True fans.
All right. We're out. Probably after game 5. We might do another one tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why not do anything? All right, later.
Yeah.